You're welcome to online lectures with Pharmacology the Schoolboy. Today, we'll take a look at pharmacology and we do a kind of review on some calculations involving dilution. So without wasting time, I'll pick some questions and we take it up from there. So we'll look at two questions today. The first question says, okay, the question says, this is Pharmacology GMP 123, Introductory Pharmacology. The question says, number one, make 5 pints of normal saline from common salt. 2, 1 in 50 stock solution is available in a primary health care center. As a community health officer, how would you prepare a 200 ml of the Lysol 1 in 80 solution to be used as a disinfectant? I'm setting up the chat box. So if you have any question, please drop your question on the chat box. I will attend to your question. live here. Okay. Okay. So let's look at the first question. Solution. The first question says, make 5 pints of normal saline from common salt. The first question is this: what is common salt? Common salt is nothing but what? Sodium chloride. We are told to make 5 pints of normal saline from common salt solution. Now, what is normal saline? Normal saline is the same as sodium chloride, the same common salt, but at a particular what? Concentration. At 0.9% weight in volume what? Concentration. At 0.9% weight in what? Volume concentration. So, normal saline is equal to 0.9% weight in volume what? Sodium chloride what? Solution. And from the concentration terms, anytime you see 0.9% weight in volume, it means 0.9 gram of the solute, in this case sodium chloride, in 100 ml solution. That's what it means. 0.9% means weight in volume, means 0.9 gram of the solute, which has the weight, in 100 ml solution. The entire solution is what? 100 ml. So if that is the case, that means normal saline is 0.9 gram of sodium chloride in 100 ml solution. That's the meaning of normal saline. But we are told to prepare 5 pints. Ml is a measure of volume, which is a metric measure or SI measure unit. But pint is in old common measure. Avoirdupois and not a view. So we need to there will be an inter-system conversion. We move from common system. We either move this 100 ml to pints or move pint to 100 because we win if 0.9 gram is in 100 ml. So how many will be in 5 pints? For us to do this calculation, we need to move this 5 pint to ml, or we move 100 ml to what? 5 pints. To pints. Actually, 1 pint can be taken as 473 ml. In some texts, you will see range going by the fact that 1 gallon is 4,000 ml. We can come down to that fact that 1 pint is 500 ml. Any of them is okay. So, left for me, I can use 437 ml. If I want, I can use 500 ml to be able to run away from excess on unnecessary calculations here, unnecessary decimal. I can leave it at 500 ml. In some text, you see 480 ml. But I will go with, let me go by, for us to make it practical, what to actually make it practical, I will go by 500 ml. I will go by 500 ml. I will say 500 what? Ml. So that implies that since we have 0.9 gram of sodium chloride in 100 ml, we can also have, to avoid confusion, let me use 473 ml. Let me use 473, no problem. Let me use 473 watts ml, no problem. So if you have 0.9 gram in 100 ml, So how many gram will be in what? 473 ml. Sorry, 1 pint is 473. So 5 pints, sorry. 1 pint, sorry. 1 pint is 473 ml. Therefore, 5 pints is equal to what? X. So X is equal to what? 5 pints times 473 ml over what? 1 pint. Pint will cancel pints. 5 times 473. 5 times 473. Let me repeat that. 5 times 473 ml. This is the value of 5 pints in ml. So if 5 pints in ml is 5 times 473 ml, let us now go back here. 0.9 gram of sodium chloride in 100 ml gives what? 0.9% weight in volume. Therefore, how many grams of sodium, S gram, will be in 5 times what? 473 ml. So X is now equal to what? We cross multiply 0.9 gram times 5 times 473 ml. All over what? 100 ml. So, to avoid wasting time, I will punch my calculator so I don't waste time. I will say we'll have 0.9 times 5 times 473 is what? 2128.5 divided by what? 100. So we have 21.285 what? Gram. 21.285 what? Gram. So if you weigh 21.285 gram, if you weigh 21.285 gram of sodium, of common salt, dissolve it in a small amount of water and make it up. And make it up to what? This is 5 times 473 is around 5 times 473 is 2365. So if you weigh 21.285 gram of sodium chloride, add a bit small amount of water, dissolve it, and use water to make it up to 2365 ml. You would have prepared 5 pints of what? Normal saline, because this is 5 pints. This is 5 pints. 2365 ml is what? 5 pints. That's the meaning. That's the meaning. Remember, I say that you can also, if you want, you can convert this 100 ml to pints. Any of them is so. If you convert 100 ml to pints, it's okay. Let's see whether it will give us the same answer. If you convert, let's assume you convert 100 ml to 5 pints. Since we know, since we have already established that 1 pint, that 1 pint is 473 ml. Therefore, how many pints will be what? 100 ml. So X is now equal to what? 1 pint times 100 ml over what? 473 ml. So if you divide through, we have 100 divided by 473. We have 0.211416 pints. But we only have that 0.9 gram in this amount of pints. Now, how many gram will be in 5 pints? We can multiply this 0.9 gram with times pints, with times 5 pints, divided by the pint we got here. We have something like this. This I did here now is for, to make it clearer, let me do it well. What I did here now is for a case where you are moving 100 ml to what? So we are moving pint to ml. You find the volume in ml. Now, sometimes you can also decide. From here. Let me clean from here. You can also decide. I think I will choose this second one because the question says we should find it in what? 5 pints. I think I will take the second one. This second one is better. 1 pint is what? 473 ml. Therefore, how many pints will be what? 100 ml. I think I'll go by this second one. X, although we'll get the same answer anyway, but this one is better. 1 pint times 100 ml over what? 473 ml. Ml we cancel ml, we have it in pints. So X is actually what? 100 over what? 473 pints. So 100 ml is what? 100 over 473 pints. Now, that means 0.9% weight in volume is certain as saying 0.9 gram in what? 100 over what? 473 pints. I think I'll go with this. This one is more straightforward than the other one. And it also tallies with what we are given in the question. So if 0.9 gram of sodium chloride is in 100 over 473 pints, to make it 0.9% weight in volume. Therefore, how many grams of sodium chloride will be in what? 5 pints. Will be in 5 pints. So let's cross multiply. X will now be what? 0.9 gram times 5 pints over what? 100 over what? 473 pints. Pint will cancel pint. Remember the rule of fraction. This is divided by 100 over 473. 473 will come up. So we now have 0.9 gram times 5 times 473 over what? 100. If you divide through, we'll get the same answer. Let's see. 0.9 times 5 times 473 is equal to this. Divided by what? 100. We'll get the same answer. 21.285 what? Gram. So if you get 21.285 gram of sodium chloride, add it a small amount of water, dissolve it, and make it up to 5 pints. You will get 5 pints of 0.5 pints of normal saline. Because normal saline is what? 0.9% weight in volume sodium chloride what? Solution. That's normal saline. So this is how you prepare 5 pints of normal saline from common salt. That's how you prepare it. So you can write the method. Simply say weigh 21.85 gram of sodium chloride of common salt. Is common salt. They wrote here. Of common salt, dissolve in little amounts of water and make it up to 5 pints with what? Water. If you do this, you would have produced what? 5 pints of normal saline from common salt. So this is the answer to the question. Simply weigh 21.285 gram of common salt, dissolve a little amount of water, and make it up to what? 5 pints with water. You see, this one is straightforward than moving to ml. You start making to 2,300 ml because the question says pints, so you should not be talking about ml here. So that's why I prefer the second method. But they give you the same amount of sodium chloride you need to dissolve. So, but I suggest you go by the second method based on the question they ask. So if you have any question, please feel free to drop your question on the chat box and I'll respond to your question. I am waiting for question. I'll give few minutes for that, like 5 minutes for that. Sorry, like 2 minutes for that. Okay. Excuse me, let me work on this thing. Somehow far. Good. It's bolder now and closer. It was far before and tiny. Good. It's bolder now. All right, so I am waiting for questions. If you have any questions, please chat box and I'll respond to your question. Drop your question and I'll respond to your question. Okay. So let me run down again while I wait for your question. Okay. For those that just joined us, let me run down again. I started by saying that normal saline. I started by defining what a normal saline is. Normal saline is sodium chloride. Is 0.9% sodium weight in volume sodium chloride. Of course, common salt. Sodium chloride is common salt. Is 0.9% weight in volume sodium chloride or common salt solution. And what is the meaning of that 0.9% weight in volume? What it means is that 0.9% weight in volume means 0.9 gram of sodium chloride or common salt in 100 ml. It means 0.9 gram of common salt in 100 ml. But we are told to describe how we can prepare 5 pints. And I came to the relationship between pint and ml. I said that 1 pint is 473 ml. I wanted to use 500, but at the point I stopped. I said no, let me use 473 ml. Some textbooks will say 500, but I prefer my student using 473 ml. So I moved down to what? 473 ml. So I said that 1 pint is 473 ml. In the one I solved initially, I said, okay, if we have 0.9 gram of sodium chloride in 100 ml, how many do we have in 5 pints? But pints and ml are not the same, even though they measure volume, but are not the same unit, the same thing. They must be in the same unit before you can do anything you want to do with it. So I now say, okay, you either move ml to pints or you move pint to ml. In the first one I saw, I moved this pint to ml. And I created a bogus number, and I have that 5 pints is 5 times 473 ml. And I say, okay, if you have 0.9 gram in 100 ml, how many grams of sodium chloride will now be in what? 5 times 473. At the end, I got 21.285 grams of sodium chloride. And I said, okay, to prepare 5 pints, you now weigh 21.285 grams of sodium chloride, which is common salt, dissolve with a little amount of water and make it up to what? 5 times 473, which is 2,000 something ml. And I say, but you were not asked the volume in ml. That's why I stopped. I say no. I'll prefer to move 100 ml to pint because the volume as here is in pints. So if that is the case, and I say, okay, let me use the second method. It's the same answer, but I prefer second method because the volume is in what? Pint. So they claimed it and moved to the second pattern. And I say, okay, 0.9 gram of sodium chloride is in 100 ml. How many will be in 5 pints? So we now say, let's move this 100 ml to pints. So when we move 100 ml to pints, look at it here. 1 pint is 473 ml. How many pints will be 100 ml? At end, 100 ml is actually 100 over 473 pints. So we now have it at this. We now came here and say, okay, if we have 0.9 gram, we replace this thing we got here. We will replace 100 ml with pint. If 0.9, that means that 0.9% weight in volume actually means 0.9 gram in 100 over 473 pints. So okay, X will now be what amount of sodium chloride or common salt will now be in 5 pints. We will multiply and arrive at this point. At the end, we got to this point and got the same answer, which is 21.285 grams of what? Sodium chloride or common salt. So I now wrote down how you can now prepare it. Simply weigh 21.28, this is 2/8, 21.285 grams of common salt and dissolve in little amount of water and make it up to what? 5 pints with water. You would have prepared the what? The solution. So that's how you can prepare 5 pints of normal saline from common salts. So I think at this point, move over to the second question. And if you have any other question on this, please feel free to chat me up on WhatsApp on this question. If you have any explanation you want me to make here, feel free to chat me up on WhatsApp on any of these numbers: 081 3868 2003 07012945891. Any of these numbers, drop your question and I will explain. So let's move to the next question. Let's move to the next question. Let's move to the next question. Oh, I'll clean it. 20129458891. Please, if you are solving this question number 1, after solving, getting the answer, please, you have to write it this way. Write it out. Write how to prepare it. If you just do the calculation and stop, you didn't do anything. After getting the amount of common salt you need, write it down the way I wrote it, what you will now do to prepare. Because it goes on to say it's a practical question and you should prepare. You do your calculation. And from the calculation, you now show how to prepare it by writing it down what you will do. Please, if you don't write it, you lose marks. Okay, let's now look at another question number 2. The question number 2 says, this 1:50 or 1:50 is a concentration, is a ratio concentration or ratio strength. 1:50 stock solution is available in a primary health care center. As a community health officer, how would you prepare a 200 ml of the Lysol 1:80 solution to be used as a disinfectant? Now, the stock solution is Lysol. The concentration in ratio strength is 1:50. That means one part is what? Lysol. The other make it up to 50, which is with what? With what? The vehicle we want to use, water in this case. So because the stock solution has the concentration of what? This. So how do we now prepare this? You can work with this stock ratio strength, but I prefer converting this ratio strength or concentration to percentage concentration. I prefer converting it to percentage concentration. Actually, to solve this, we use what is called dilution formula. That's I prefer using dilution formula because the stock solution has a particular concentration and a particular volume. Then the one you diluted it to has a particular concentration and a particular volume. So the dilution formula says C1V1 is equal to what? C2V2. That's what dilution formula says. C1V1 is equal to what? C2V2. Now C1 now, let's take C1 to be the concentration. This is concentration, this is volume. This one is for the stock solution. From where you took the solution, you will add water and dilute to produce another concentration. So we take some volume from this stock solution. The stock the Lysol, stock Lysol, the concentrated Lysol, you take a particular volume from it and dilute it with water, with a particular volume of water to produce this second solution. This is the one that you now use as what? Disinfectant. It will now have concentration C2 and volume V2. But from the question, our C1 is 1 is to what? 1 in what? 50. This is the stock solution concentration, but it's not in percentage strength. I like moving this to percentage strength. So if I am to move this to percentage strength, it becomes 1 over 50 times what? 100%. So this 50 divided 100 is what? 2%. So the percentage strength is what? 2%. Because it's the volume, is liquid, is volume in volume. So I will leave it at, let me just leave it at this 2%. Then V1, we don't know V1. The V1 here, we don't know what V1 is. Look at it. Because that V1 is that volume of this stock solution you will take and add water to produce the second volume and concentration. So we don't know V1. We need to find this V1. Then C1 is the concentration of what you produce by adding water, taking this volume we are looking for and adding water to produce a concentration that a volume, and that volume V2 that has the concentration. So second concentration of the one you are going to use for what? Disinfectant is 1 in 80. So this here is C2, not C1. So C1 is 1 in what? 80. Moving into percentage concentration, you have something like this: 1 over what? 80 times what? 100%. And this will give us what? 10 divided by 8 is 1.25. 1.25%. Have you not seen something? This is 2%. For 2%, the concentration went down to 1.25%. So the concentration decreased. Yes, because you have diluted it. So the second concentration is what? 1.25%. Now, the second volume, the volume you diluted it to, is what? 200 ml. It's 200 ml. It's 200 ml. So let's find this volume. The volume of the stock solution you would take. Let's go back to the formula. From the formula, V1 is what? From the formula, V1 is what? V1, you divide both sides by C1. V1 is what? C2 V2 over what? C1. That's what V1 is. So let's come up here. So V1 is now equal to what? C2 is what? 1.25% times V2 is what? 200 ml over C1. C1 is what? 2%. Percent will cancel percent. So 1.25 times 200 divided by 2. This gives us 125. Let's not waste time. This 2 divided 200 is what? 100. Ml is still there. So 1.25 times 100 ml. If 10 times this, we move this decimal point to this place. The remaining 0 will move. So the answer is what? 125 ml. So the V1 is what? 125 ml. What this implies is that to produce, remember these things are practical questions. Remember what the question says. The question says, how would you prepare a 200 ml of a Lysol solution? It's simple. From the stock, take 1.25 ml, because this is the volume of the stock solution you will take. So take 1.25 ml of the stock solution and add water, or make it up with, add water to make it up to what? 200 ml. If you do that, you have produced 1 in 80 stocks solution for what? Disinfectant. Simple. Just take 1.25 ml of the stock solution in the bottle. Just take 1.25 ml of that stock solution, add water until you get to the volume of 200 ml, and shake it well. You have produced this Lysol 1 in 80. You can use it for what? For your disinfectant. Simple. So sometimes you will ask the volume of water added. If you want to know the volume of water you added, simply subtract 125 ml from 200 ml. It will be 75 ml of water. But that's not what the question is asking. Because they say you just explain how you do it. Simple. So let us explain. Take 125 ml of the stock solution or you can say take or pour, anyone is okay. Pour 125 ml of the stock solution in a measuring cylinder and make it up to 200 ml with water. Simple. If this question is an essay question, after solving this is how you put it. Pour 125 ml of the stock solution in a measuring cylinder and make it up to 200 ml with water. You are good to go. And use it for your what? Disinfectant. Of course, the water should be clean water, sterile water to avoid contamination. It's okay. Sterile water is okay. To 200 ml. Use it for your what? As your what? Disinfectant. So this is the answer to this question. I don't know. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. I'll give another 2 minutes for your questions. 2 minutes for your questions. In the absence of any questions, we end this lecture here. You have 2 minutes to ask your question. Let me run this down again while we wait for your question. The question says 1 in 50 stock solution of Lysol is available in a healthcare center. As a community health officer, how would you prepare a 200 ml of the Lysol 1 in 80 solution to be used as a disinfectant? I started with dilution formula that said that C1V1 is equal to C2V2 because the stock solution has a particular concentration and a particular volume. And for you to dilute it, you will take a particular volume of that stock solution and add water to prepare another volume of the same stock of the same Lysol, but it will be what? Diluted one. So to be able to calculate it, use C1V1 is equal to C2V2. C1V1 belongs to the stock solution. C2 or the concentrated solution. C2V2 belongs to the diluted solution, the one you want to use as what? Disinfectant. They gave us C1 to be 1 in 50. I say I prefer this ratio strength. I prefer moving my ratio strength to my what? To what? Percentage strength. That's why I say this to move it to percentage. Simply do 150 times 100%, and that gives us what? 2%. V1 is the volume of that stock solution you will take and add water to dilute. But you don't know that volume. We put question mark there. Then C2 is volume of the diluted Lysol you use for the disinfectant is C2. But it's in 1 in 80. We move it to what? Percentage strength. It becomes 1.25%. Then V2, they give us V2 here as 200 ml. So we now want to look for V1. We make V1 the subject of the formula. So V1 is equal to what? C2 V2 over what? C1 from here. So we now come over here. V1 is what? C1, C2 here in here is 1.25. Look at it there. 1.25% times V2 is 200 ml. Look at it here. over C1. C1 is 2%. Look at it here. So percent will cancel percent. 2 divide 200, we have 100. So we have 100 mil here. 1.25 times 100. I did decimal movement with the calculator, so we don't waste our time. Then this 0 will take care of this. We'll move the decimal point to this place. It will disappear. This second 0 will move it from here to here. Disappear. So we have 125 mil. So V1 is what? 125 mil. I now said that since you now know the V1 is the volume of that stock solution you will need to take and dilute. So for that means if you want to prepare this solution now, simply take 1.25 ml of that stock solution. Take just 1.25 ml. Add it to water until you get to 200 ml. Shake it well. You have prepared this diluted Lysol for your what? Disinfectant. At least use water that is sterile, that is not contaminated, that is somehow bacteria free, because you are preparing this disinfectant. Does it make sense? So that's what I wrote here. Pour 1.125 ml of the stock solution in a measuring cylinder and make it up to what? 200 ml. But I say that some question may want you to calculate the amount of water you need to add. If that is the question you will ask, because you are moving from 125 ml to 200 ml, you are increasing the volume by adding water. It's when you add water to this, the volume becomes 200 ml. So you want to know the amount of water you added, simply subtract 125 volume of water. Simply subtract 125 from where? 200 ml. That will give us what? 75 ml. If that, this is in case they ask you a question, this is not part of this question. This is in case they ask you a question like this. You see a question like this in the future. This is how you do what? Solve it. All right. Without in the absence of any question, I think we'll stop here for today. Thank you very much for your attention. See you next time. Lest I forget, please, on every Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7:10 a.m., I organize academic competition I titled Academic Battle the Schoolboy. The competition features per day, per Saturday, ranging from art courses, science courses, commercial courses, medical and pharmaceutical courses. And the registration is free of charge. You don't need to pay anything to register. And there are prizes to be won. This competition will help you to improve academically. If you are interested in this academic competition, please chat me up on WhatsApp, any of this line, and I'll give you the link for the registration and any other information you need to know. Please, if you also want to sponsor, because we don't charge money for the registration, we depend on donations from people to be able to finance, give the prizes and other things, other expenses incurred in this competition. If you are moved to sponsor this, please chat me up on WhatsApp and I'll send you the account details for the payment and other things for the donation. Please, if you have any question, please feel free, drop the question via this WhatsApp lines and I will attend to the questions without wasting time. All right. Like my videos, like these lectures, comment, share these lectures with your friends, with your colleagues, your children and your students. Someone out there may be in need of these lectures. You can also please subscribe to my YouTube channel. The channel then, after watching this live lecture will be on my YouTube, and the live section of my YouTube channel from Eternity the Schoolboy. There's a red button there. After watching, there's a red button there. Click that red button, written subscribe. Click on it and you subscribe. And there is a button that looks like bell on the side. If you click that bell is for notification. Anytime I am live online or post any video or do anything on my YouTube channel, you will be notified. God bless you as you support my mission. See you next time.